listen, I'm not going to get into all the X's and O's of the team this year. We'll have lots of time as the year goes on, Gibby, to get into this. But let's talk about coming into this season just in general. I mean, last year you and I were sitting here on the phone talking about it and all the hoopla before Christmas and the huge deal that was made, and the expectations were sky high. I mean, you came up here, Gibby, and it was like we'd won the World Series. I say we, baseball fans of the Toronto Blue Jays and all the media, and Vegas makes you an 8-1 favorite. And, you know, I asked you at the time, would you rather go into the year as a front runner or would you rather go in as an underdog? And you said, well, I'd always rather go in as the underdog, but if we are going to be the front runner, let's go in with a little swagger and try and act like we deserve it. We all know it didn't turn out to be such a great year, and all the reasons have been documented. But this year, you're only about a couple of weeks away from spring training. A different story, isn't it?
Yeah, Mumbles, and you know, it's a big year for us. It really is, and but you know, I feel good about it. I mean, there's going in, to be realistic. Last year, I mean, going in, there was always a chance that, you know, it might take some time for the guys to come together to gel and what have you, and it was never going to be as easy as people were predicting. And
to be fair, Gibby, you told us that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, you look around the sports world, even in our sport, and baseball, and different sports. Sometimes you bring a big group together that's unfamiliar with themselves, and a bunch of new faces. You know, it takes a while to get it going, and there's no guarantee it's going to work. But we really like the moves, and we like the team that we assembled, and we still do. And you know, we expect ourselves to bounce back this year and have a really good year.
I'm still on that Hall of Fame site, and I've got to the G's now, and I'm still looking for you, pal.
Hey, that's right. I'm in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of the G's, so I haven't worked my way through yet. I'm not giving up hope, all right?
It's Gibbons, not Gibson.
So now you go into camp. It's coming up, and of course, I mean, the expectations are so much different here, and a lot of fans feel, you know, a little gun shy than they were last year. And I think that's a good thing because it really did get carried away altogether last year. It turned out pretty good for the box office because a lot of people got flex packs in their Christmas stockings. Therefore, you had some pretty decent crowds at the end of the year. But, you know, I asked you what some of the challenges facing you as a manager were going to camp. And without getting into the starting rotation or who's going to play, you know, play second base or whatever else, as you take this group into camp this year, as you go into camp with this group this year, what are some of the things on your list of priorities you're looking at that you want to get accomplished during spring training?
Well, Mumbles, you know, first we got to settle in on what our rotation is going to be. You know, who are 5 guys, you know, we can pick. I mean, there's some spots open in that rotation right now. And I think it's important too that, you know, we got to play better coming out of the gates at the start of the season. I mean, we buried ourselves early. You know, we came out of spring training ready to play, but I don't think we handled the pressure very well.
Right.
In all the hype, and then next thing you know, I mean, it's a pretty good division we're in, and you know, you fall behind too early, you know, you bury yourself and you're done, and that's basically what happened. So. I think it's very important to get off to a good start. I mean, that's no guarantee, and that's not an easy thing to do. But you know, we need to, you know, somehow do that. But I, like I said earlier, you know, this group has been together a year now. You know, we like this group, and we think we'll play a heck of a lot better just for that fact. The experience of knowing each other, settling in. They all know Toronto. They know, you know, they know the division. There's a lot of new faces to the American League. They know that now. So. You know, I expect a big year. I really do.
Well, it'd be nice if you had the left side of your infield in place, not injured, touch wood. You know, that was a big difference. People forget that last year. You spent a whole lot of the year without the left side of your infield intact, and Brett, Laurie, and Reyes. Let me ask you a question regarding that, Gibby, because you know you're back up here in hockey country, right? And the Olympic Games are upon us. And there's all kinds of debate out there right now as far as the NHL is concerned, and you'll see where I'm going with this in a second, as to how the break is going to affect certain teams. Some teams are playing really good right now. They don't want to break. Other teams are really scuffling and injured, and the break is going to do them good while the teams go away and play in Russia. But my question to you is, and it ties in with last year in the World Baseball Championship, it's obviously going to affect different teams differently when their players come back from the Olympics. There are players of different nationalities, just like you've got on your team, who to them the World Championships and the Olympics are the big thing. and they're going to be sky high. Let's say Sweden or the Czech Republic goes right through to the final and they win the championship. Their team's going to be sky high, national heroes. Then they come back to the NHL and suddenly they're going on the mundane week in, week out, day in, day out game. Last year you guys had a World Baseball Championship. 3 members of your team won it all with the Dominican Republic, as I recall correctly, right? And they went there and they played this World Championship, and many of the guys on your team, for them to win the World Championship is a huge deal. Do you think the World Baseball Championship worked against the Blue Jays last year or for them, or do you think it was insignificant?
Well, what was the way I think it worked against us I'm convinced of it, is, it took so many of our players away. If this had been a team that had played together and been together for a while, it's different. But we sent Laurie, Reyes, Encarnacion. Dickey went. Aaron Sebia went. So you basically took 4 out of 5. The infielders in the starter, and then a couple outfielders. So when as a new team in spring training, you want them to get together, play together, get to know each other, that kind of thing. But they went off to that, and I definitely think that had an effect on it. Was that the reason we played so bad the whole year? Of course not. But it didn't. I don't think it helped early on. That's when we buried ourselves. So I don't think there's anything we can do about it, because it's been such a success. And that national pride's big, that gets people revved up. And, you're talking about as far as the hockey going off the Olympics and then coming back, is there a letdown? Who knows? But, I think the fact that, that national pride's involved and people really enjoy that's not going to change, and there's really nothing we can do about it.
I've never seen such a year, John, and you got to think fate works itself out. Knock wood here. That was my forehead I just hit, by the way. You've got to think that fate works itself out. But I do not know what it is in the drinking water up here in Toronto. But the number of injuries to arms in the pitching staff has been, I want to say, unprecedented. But you're there in the league all year round, and we know that the Boston Red Sox had terrible injuries and overcame it and all the rest. But it really has been, or has it been, an unusual couple of years as far as pitchers going down injured, or is this de jure across the league?
Well, the Blue Jays organization has been hit really hard with injuries, especially some of the season-ending type arm injuries, and I don't think it's any different here than anywhere else. Some arms are just going to blow it at certain times. There's a lot of stress and strain on an arm, and you're probably not supposed to throw a fastball 95 to 100 miles an hour without something happening. And, but everything just seemed to happen at once. 2 years, the year before I got here, and then last year, we went through a few guys that had some problems. But with the surgeries and the medicine the way it is now, that these guys come back better than ever. And hopefully the case, in our case, like Hutchinson and Drayback and those guys, we think it's all behind them, and they'll be good. They'll be good to go with and have good long careers. But when it hits you all at once, I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it. And you can have some depth in the minor leagues, but the number of injuries they had here, it's tough to fill that out. It's tough to fill out a team that way.
Well, talk about filling out a team, Gibby. You've gone to camp with teams both as the manager and as bench coach, where the team's been set. You've been to camps where there's only a couple of places really open in the team, haven't you? That's certainly not the case with this Blue Jay squad this year.
Yeah, we're looking to see what we're going to do at second base. We got Goins that came up, did a great job for us.
Sure did.
Spring training, he'll be the front runner, and and we'll see what he does with that. Like I said earlier, we're looking to fill out the rotation. Whether we add another pitcher or not before camp, no one really knows. There's the question mark is Melky Cabrera's coming back. They found that tumor in his spine, and they feel that was what was causing all his problems. So hopefully that's behind him. So, but until we actually see him on the field moving around, we won't know for sure. And but I'm optimistic. We get a healthy Reyes back. Even after he came back from his ankle injury, he was still hobbled for most of the year, and that did affect him. As good as he played, it still hindered him a little bit. So, and then hopefully a full season out of Brett Laurie, who's also been hit by the injury bug the last couple of years. So, we're sitting good. We really like our team. And we're hoping some things go our way, but we got to be prepared to play coming out of spring training.